Today's episode is brought to you by IP Vanish, and we've got a chance for you to win $500 from IP Vanish. There's a link in the episode description with the video. You'll need IP Vanish to watch the video, otherwise it will be restricted. The video will have the next clue for how to win $500. Okay, let's start the show.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, your host for the House of Hardcore Podcast, Tommy Dreamer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the House of Hardcore Podcast. And we have a first. And when you have a first, it's like losing your virginity. And what a better way to lose my virginity?
Yes.
To 3 people right here.
You're going to get it, pal. You're going to get it.
We're talking shop. We're talking anything. Rocky Romero, Carl Anderson, and Big LG Doc Gallows. He's got so many names, I forget. I have him in my phone, so many different names.
Well, let's go. Let's be honest. This is the House of Hardcore Podcast. I'm a House of Hardcore original on the first show, Big XLG, under one of my many 37 monikers.
We forgot about Big XLG.
Big XLG, brother. Tommy gave me that name.
We got to get to the House of Hardcore one of these days.
Ooh, absolutely.
We almost did when we were running hot in Japan with Bullet Club, I think, weren't we? Didn't we? Almost.
Yeah, but I think we couldn't schedule it. Yeah.
COVID kind of killed that whole House of Hardcore dream. And something else we'll talk about.
COVID killed a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's fucked, man.
You know, it didn't kill and made it grow. Talk of Shopamania.
It really did, man. It really fucking did.
We got to say this. We've been doing a lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews. You were a participant. You came down for Talking Shopamania 2. We didn't want to shoot our wad on too many people on the first one, but we kind of went all out on the second one. Rocky broke the budget with his cinematic production out in Los Angeles, where he stole all our money and made us go broke. But you stepping into the Talking Shopamania, as we're calling it, alternate universe, as my wrestling dad, and having to ask you to participate in a roll undershed hoot fight, the only shoot fight on the entire show, the rest is scripted, and you step into that thing. What the hell were you thinking?
Well, you know me. I like to roll with the punches. And it goes back to my days of ECW where, hey, we were always different. When your competition went to the right, we went to the left. We were always swerving everybody, doing a lot of different things. And you guys have had this own vision that really started from your podcast, really?
Basically, yeah, and all the dumb shit we say on there, we wanted to bring it to life, and then we didn't have a job anymore, so we were allowed, so we did it.
It was literally the day we got Kizan Gallows called and was like, "Hey, I'm running the pay-per-view in my backyard, and you guys are doing it with me or without me." And I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Hey, what do you mean?
Didn't really give us a choice.
Yeah, what do you mean a pay-per-view? And I'm thinking, like, who are you going to call? How are you going to get on the? What do you mean pay-per-view? What are we?
Don't worry, I'm going to figure it out, guys.
Who wants to watch a pay-per-view from your house, from your backyard? I get it, and then I guess apparently people do. So,
and who wants to watch anything without people? That was my first thought.
Right.
Who are we going to have wrestling matches? And man, like this whole pandemic though, it gave us this chance to do this and get to see each other more often than we ever saw each other. And like it's been a lot of fun. It's insanity.
If you think about all of our careers, we all kind of start off wrestling in a backyard or wrestling in your buddy's pool, whatever, when you fall in love, or in your living room, your den. And when I was on that lovely Wednesday, rolling up to this property, and I'm like, I'm almost 31 years in, and I'm back in the backyard.
Yeah,
you were in the side yard, technically, actually.
And that's what's cool about it, though, is everybody was cool about it. And like, I keep telling this story, but like when you try to ask Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, like, hey, we're going to be trying to rip each other's nuts off in my front yard. Do you mind running in there and yelling at us? He's like, what the fuck? But everybody was cool enough, and everybody showed up and played their part. And I fucking think worse than the first shouldn't be the hashtag, because I think this shit's going to be hilarious. We just need people to buy it, since Rocky put our Talking Shop bank account in the red with his Matrix production that he made.
Now, we discussed this on Busted Open, but this is a different show.
Yep.
Rocky, you come from Strong Style, New Japan. Same with you, Carl. Doc, you've been in the WWE system pretty much since you started because some idiot hired a balding teenager
Thanks,
to be in
Dad.
that system.
Thanks, Dad, for the run.
But like, think of where we are and think of like everything that you've learned in the business is at times the exact opposite of what we're now doing.
Yes, 100%.
You couldn't have said it more accurately. It's just it's upside down and it's bonkers. But like we were talking about this earlier between like New Japan Strong, what we're doing at Impact, like, yeah, it sucks when you start wrestling in front of no crowd, but what do? We're entertainers, we're performers, we're wrestlers. We adapt and we figure out a way to make the shit work. And I think Impact's putting out, you know, we're biased, of course, but it's a hell of a wrestling show every single week. It's well thought out. There's depth to the roster, and we've all kind of gotten used to it during this pandemic, and everybody is. And that's where our little talking shop alternate universe fits into the puzzle, I think, because without the pandemic, I don't know that Talking Shop of Mania could have become a thing. So it kind of helped us in an odd way.
And that's the key to is that it's alternate universe. And that's kind of what we're using the term to kind of, term this Talking Shop of Mania product, because we don't want to take away from, the actual wrestling product, the real wrestling product, something like Impact or New Japan, where we're making fun of that in any kind of way. It's completely, a whole separate thing.
When, we all grew up loving pro wrestling. And if you think about the absurdness of actually pro wrestling, here is, I'm the world heavyweight champion. I have a very expensive suit. Another man comes in, rips up my suit, and now we're going to fight till the death because of my suit.
Yeah.
Or even like, I hate you so much, I'm going to shave your head, brother.
Or how about, I hate you so much, I'm going to cut your nutsack off and eat it. I mean, that's the kind of
You're taking it to the extreme.
Well, that's the good thing about Talking Shop of Mania too, right? Is like we got all this fake stuff on there and it's all unreal. It's all scripted. It's all not real. But then we have Roll Undershed, which is the real aspect of the fight.
Yeah,
So that's the real part. That's what I'm excited about.
They're not shoot fights. They're hoot fights. It's our answer to Raw Underground. It's the same thing when you see a faction like Retro Pooption make their debut. There's going to be 3 factions debuting on this thing. I mean, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. And that's what makes it so exciting and so much fun. And to have people like Tommy Dreamer and Rhino and Just Incredible in the Roll Undershed, fuck, that's a backyard wrestling kid's wet dream right there. I would have booked that all day long in 1998. Can you imagine?
There's a who's who here, man. I mean, like you just saying those 3 is good enough to just get
great.
I was such an ECW mark, dude. I used to, I would get it through like UHF or V, like some weird channel. So I would like have to hold the bunny ears and then like go in my room and like stand like this. And then I'd watch from like so far away. It was like super fuzzy, but I like loved every second of it.
I had to do that with Florida Championship Wrestling, and that's what hooked me. If this is successful, which I know it will be, because we're all going to be plugging it on socials. And I know, because from my piece that I was there, number one, we'll talk about Rhino going so hard, preparing like it's a real match.
He almost killed Laser, my minion brother. I mean, he almost cut him literally in half. I was losing my mind.
3 times.
What do you guys?
Getting frustrated. That was the best. And I'm doing alternate commentary because I see a camera and I'm just healing the hell out of him like I normally do.
Yeah, Rhino was getting frustrated with the kid he brought. But I kind of think Rhino was going I'm not saying it was Rhino's fault because I respect the legend. I just kind of think Rhino was going the wrong way, I think.
It maybe could have been.
Rhino's a particular brother, right? But you know what? Hey, he's a legend. So you know what? It wasn't his fault. It was that kid's fault.
It's like, fuck that kid. Right. Yeah, it's a clothesline with the left, brother. Remember that.
I don't mean to put myself over, but I'm so ambidextrous. I can DDT from either side. I can spear from either side, but apparently that's why the spear and the gore are different, because it can only happen from one side.
hey, that's why it's Rhino. I think the gore and the spear are different.
But here's the other thing, guys. That's my backyard, and I filmed some Sex Ferguson stuff just for like Patreon out there, and I fell down. And that's not like, I know
there's rocks out there.
precautions. There's rocks out there. And I was watching it back because I wasn't here, which we can talk about later. I was driving me nuts, but he's just cutting these brothers in half. And I mean, these aren't world-renowned pro wrestlers per se. These are either up-and-comers or hobbyists, friends of ours. And I'm like, fuck, Rhino's going to kill somebody in my backyard. There's no way that they signed a waiver.
Hey, well, you could say like in the boner yard match though, I knocked you down and you fell down on a boulder, right? But he no sold it because everybody was around watching. He didn't want to show any pain or tears. And he said he laid there and was going. Oh.
I couldn't walk for a week properly. Like
he landed on a rock that was like a sword,
just pierced into my body.
That's when you get up and you do the old man. You pull up your pants a little bit and you say, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna make a phone call."
He couldn't even get up.
Oh God!
I heard the one guy when Rhino gored him. He went.
Yeah, his life was leaving his body.
It might have been Rhino too.
No, not Rhino.
It wasn't.
Oh, it's so good.
God.
But it was fun. We had fun.
Absolutely.
Like I said, we're gonna do a third one. Maybe I'll help you out with some budget trimming, not to step on your toes, Rocky. But from ECW, we used to, hey, I need barbed wire, so we went to a parking garage and we cut razor wire and then it displayed on pay-per-view. I didn't even put rubbing alcohol. It was rusty. It's in my back. I got a lovely scar from it. Yeah, man.
Like we didn't realize that Rocky, again, all joking seriousness. We didn't realize Rock was going to turn this into Matrix Reloaded. Like we didn't realize this, and it's cool. It's cool. It is so fucking cool that like
people are going to remember it so much.
It's so different from the rest. Like what you see is Nature Boy Paul Lee versus George North. You see Frankie versus Freight Train. I mean, there's some bad wrestling out there, and then all of a sudden you get this like 20-minute movie of like Chavo and Chico talking shit to each other and ducking bullets and dodging bullets, and someone passes away during it. It's insanity.
Like when he showed it, he was standing in my kitchen. He's got it on his phone. And the first thing that goes through my head is, holy shit, that looks like a movie. And then the second thing that immediately goes in my head was, how fucking much did that cost? Oh, no. And I still don't know the final answer.
I actually don't know
credit card, just swiping it.
Oh, my God.
So true.
Hey, listen, man, Dusty Rhodes used to always say, we're making movies, baby. And we really are.
Yep.
Everything we do, we take pride in. And like I said, for the third one, I'm going to book 2 people for you. You ready?
Yes.
And they're both, since it's to the backyard, we're going to get a trampoline. I'm surprised you don't have one.
We have one.
We have one.
Okay, well, I didn't see it. And
other side of the yard.
we have to get,
big yard.
I hope he's still alive, Dennis Stamp.
He's not, sadly. He's not.
Really?
We can dress somebody up as Lennis Stamp, though. That's part of the Talking Shopamania universe. He would love that homage to him, I'm sure.
And then we need to get Greg Valentine, because a couple of years ago, Greg Valentine at the kids' pool, at the kids' party, just waiting for his opponent.
Brother.
That's now all of us. Like we all mocked and made fun of him, and like, oh, and now that's every one of us. And
I'm trying to get Big Hoot to get Honky Tonk too at some point.
Well, we have all these Elvis characters, so the payoff finally has to be Honky Tonk Man. This is a quick Greg Valentine story. I was 18 years old, Goldsboro, North Carolina, on a show. I'm so pumped. Greg Valentine's there. I put the ring up. My match is like second. They sent Greg out first. He's double shot, and of course, brother. He comes out in the old school baby blue trunks, the Valentine trunks. Right out of the gate, the guy picks him up and slams him, which I'm like, why would he do that to Greg Valentine? Greg Valentine rolls over, he checks. You see the shit running down his legs. He does this. He rolls out. He walks to the back, gets his keys, gets his bag, gets in his Thunderbird, and drives away shit pants. All respect.
Did you ever wrestle Greg Valentine?
Me or him?
Carl.
I never wrestled. I met him once, probably in 2003 or 2004 in Cincinnati, Middletown, Ohio, at a bar. But he was. I was 2 years in wrestling at this point, and man, he looked like he did not want to be there. And I was like, but maybe that's just the way Greg is. I don't know.
I don't think he's a big smiley guy though.
Yeah. I remember shaking his hand, and he possibly looked up and looked at me.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
You ever wrestle him?
No. I think I've met him once or twice. Around.
Let's hear it, Tommy.
I wrestled Greg the Hammer Valentine, young Tommy Dreamer, wrestled him 3 weekends in a row. And I'm like marking out because I've seen him wrestle so many times. And, you know, Greg Valentine back in the day was like, he was the next going to be like Ric Flair guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And we don't call anything. And like, I'm also sitting in the back and I'm like, and I remember going to Taz, I'm like, I don't think he likes me. We're not talking about anything. Like, what am I going to do? And like, he's like, just go out there and like, you know, like feel it. And I was like, okay. He was beyond giving. He was super duper nice every night. Thank you, brother. Great match. Give me little critiques. The next weekend I work with him. Finally, it's the third weekend of me working with the same guy. And I'm always like super respectful. I'm like, you know, hey, Greg, you know, so nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, hi, Greg Valentine, nice to meet you. But now, dude, I've had 3 matches with you. We're going to main event WrestleMania. I come up to him.
We're pals.
And I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? And he goes, hi, Greg Valentine, nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, you still don't remember me. That's how much brothering you're doing.
I'm the same guy from last week.
Wow. What a brother story.
Oh,
hang on. Good. Years later, I'm talking ECW, WWE. I booked him for WWE. Because that was part of my job. Eventually at a convention, I walked up to him and I'm like, hey, how's it going? He goes, hey, Greg Valentine, nice to meet you. I'm like, are you kidding me? How do you still not know my name? But now we're really good friends. Like every time he sees, like, hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Oh,
but it took about 20-something years of me being Tommy Dreamer for him to finally realize who I was.
We need rhythm and blues at Talking Shopamania 3, and we need a live audience if the world opens up. That's 2 things that are on our wish list right now.
And if we could get a Cadillac for really cheap, holy shit.
We have a Cadillac hearse that I can't get rid of in the front yard. We can convert that.
I feel like Honky's gonna break the bank, brother. I don't know.
Oh no, I know the brother price. We'll be all right. Just don't tell him it's a pay-per-view till after.
Yeah, don't tell him it's a pay-per-view. That's
don't tell him. Yeah.
Keep him in the dark. Keep him in the dark like Vincent was in the dark about where he was.
If you like sex, you'll like BlueChew.com. BlueChew offers men a performance enhancement for the bedroom. Wouldn't you like to last a little bit longer? Go a few extra rounds. Well, guess what? Now you can, because at BlueChew.com, you get the first chewables with the same active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis. Chewables can work faster than pills, up to twice as fast, and we all know sometimes we need it a lot quicker. The chewables from BlueChew.com can be taken on a full or empty stomach. An online physician consult is free, so it's cheaper than those other 2. I'm not even going to say their name anymore. You know why? Because Blue Chew was better. It only takes a few minutes to connect with a BlueChew.com affiliated physician, and if you qualify, you get prescribed online quickly. No in-person doctor visit, no awkward conversation, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Ships directly to your door in discreet packaging. The chewables from BlueChew.com are prescribed online by a doctor and made in the good old USA. Ho! Blue Chew gives you the confidence in bed every time. You and your partner will love it, chew it, and do it. Here's a great deal for you guys. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first order free. That's right, absolutely free. When you use the promo code HARDCORE. Just pay $5 shipping. That's it. BlueChew.com. Promo code HARDCORE. Now let's get back to the show.
Hey Tommy, can you tell the Vincent story real quick?
I got 2 favorite stories about this whole ordeal. One was the night before checking into the hotel. It's me, Hurricane, Kevin Thorne, and Justin Credible. I'm wearing a mask, and here comes good old Virgil. Virgil comes down. He's brothering up with Kevin Thorne and Hurricane. Pays no attention to me. Acts like I have no clue if he doesn't know who I am. So then where I check in, I go, and then I come back because we're going to go get some meat. And then he realizes that same person is me. He's like, hey, Dreamer, what's going on? And I heard him talking like something about AEW and his agent. And he was thinking that since we were now, it was a Tuesday and we're filming Wednesday, that we are now filming in AEW for AEW, because sometimes I guess they shot in Georgia. I have no clue how this came about. And he was like, yeah, my agent told me about AEW. I was like, yeah, it was great to see you back in AEW. I'm happy to be here too, man. I've been friends with Tony Khan, friends with Jericho. And I totally was that I'm working for AEW today instead of, and he for the longest time believed it. And then
I would love.
Then he pulled up and saw what was going on.
That's what I mean. Like, he pulls up to a fucking house. I would have loved to have had a camera in the car that brought him. He didn't drive himself, I assure you. But I mean, that would have been amazing.
And my other favorite part, a little behind the scenes, is I kind of knew this going in, but it wasn't 100% confirmed. The creator, the Vince McMahon of this entire project, takes another booking outside of his most expensive, biggest pay-per-view, and he is not there for his own production. But hey, guess what? The show goes on because you had two good partners that just stepped right up and took over.
I mean, couldn't have been better. I was, I don't know if we're allowed to say that show thing, but I was definitely doing a show, and they don't, it was supposed to shoot a different day or I wouldn't have done it. And then once you sign the papers, like, you have to do what they say, brother. And it was killing me. It was like abandoning your child that I couldn't be here. So I was bothering everybody that was here. I think I even texted you at one point. I was texting my wife, what's going on? How's it going? But of course they handled it. Of course they knew what it was going to be. And we all have a very similar sense of humor. So I think that's what ties it all together. And if you watch the Ball for a Ball match, it's way more TVMA than the Boneyard match was. So put the kids to bed for that one, please. Drink some Talking Shop wine, some bourbon, whatever you got to do.
When I knew Big Hoot was booked for something else, that was my chance of trying to cancel the thing. I said, well, maybe we can.
I think you did try to cancel
of course I tried to just think.
I said, oh, hell no.
I tried to cancel it. And Gallows was like, yeah, you're right. I probably should. And then he came back with, actually, they're moving the shooting date so we can shoot. And I went, fuck. Okay, great. So we go. Then he goes, oh, which that was probably all big work anyway. So then we all get there and he goes, oh, I got to work tomorrow. And I went, you got to be kidding. Now I actually got to run this thing? Bro, that's not how I don't want to do this. Then I had to turn it on.
Right.
You did.
The funny part was like trying to get through Big Hoot's creative, because like all the stuff that Big Hoot had came up with, it was really like he knew the segments the best. So we're like trying to put it together with everybody. We're like, I think you're supposed to do
Tommy.
This. Yeah.
Gallows, so you got to talk to Tommy, dog. I don't know what the hell you want.
Like,
I don't know what you want with these real fights. with the real segments of the show.
Before I let you go, because I know you guys got a lot of press today, I want two questions for each of you. One, your favorite part of either the first one or the second one or any of these dealings, and two, is there any wrestler that has refused to do something with you guys?
All right, I'll answer. My favorite part of the whole thing is just all of us, honestly, just all of us getting together. Because like when all the boys come in and like we can all just sit in between shooting and this and that, just being able to talk to these guys, because there's a lot of guys that are there that I look up to, that I watched since I was a kid, and like it's just cool to be around that shit and just be able to have a creative process. But Naked Midian completely kayfabed us. So
yeah, he sure did.
This wants nothing to do with us.
That's because he's better in better shape now. It's not as funny as when he was in.
Not as funny as when he was fatter. Yeah,
but it's still Naked Midian. I mean, like, just
Naked Dreamer could have stepped up anytime, guys. Just
well, here we go.
Well, now
another Talking Shop 3.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rock. Okay, I was gonna say my favorite part was probably during Talking Shopamania 1, when it was actually airing, was just the three of us in our group text going, holy shit, people actually fucking like this. And just watching Twitter blow up. It was so, I mean, you put all that hard work into it. I mean, months and months of hard work, and then to, see it pay off and people actually enjoying themselves. That was the best part by far. And then the person who I would say, when I was doing the LA shoot, I was trying to book Chris Masters, and we're all in a group text together. And I was like, yeah, Chris. So yeah, hey, this price cool. He's like, yeah. He's like, and then what day is it? It was like, it's going to be like on a Tuesday. And he's like, yeah. So wait, what time? And I'm like, from this time to this time. He's like, yeah, I don't think I can do it because the Laker game's on. So,
and we were like
priorities.
I said, I was in the group text and I wrote, enjoy the Laker game. He wrote, thanks. That was it. I was like, okay, I guess he doesn't want to work.
You saved a lot of money because no one broke that Master Lock challenge.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, in our universe, Rocky will break it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite part of Talking Shopamania 2 is the cliffhanger debut. We have 3 factions debuting, but the faction that debuts to close out the show is one of the most ridiculous things that we've ever come up with in our heads. And I really hope that people enjoy it, and the members of it, and the thought process that went into who was a part of it. As far as people like no show, and we covered that, or not wanting to work with us, but we got to give a shout out to our boy Raven, who is my boy. The first Talking Shopamania, he said, hey, I want to be a part of it. I've had some health stuff recently. Just want to make sure I'm good. So like we can shoot something here. I go, that's great. You're right up in Atlanta. Awesome. We'll do it. Thank you. We forgot to send someone to shoot Raven. The second Talking Shopamania, we have the same conversation. Then we forget to call him and tell him which day it is. So he's been advertised for 2 Talking Shopamanias. He's appeared on none. We owe Raven a massive, massive spot in Talking Shopamania 3 because we're such fucking idiots.
I know a guy who put him over a lot, so maybe we could all get in touch with him.
Perfect.
Yeah, we should. He's got to become a special part of this. The very ever elusive Raven, but it's all our fault.
I think he could just have his own little segment where he's just either ripping up talent when they come to the back, like he used to do, like, hey, you need a ring jacket, or hey, you need to
buy some jewelry. I saw an episode of TNA where I have a ring on every finger, and I remembered because I was wrestling at a flea market with Raven the weekend before. He's like, yeah, you want to stick out, get some jewelry. So I went biker jewelry shopping with Raven. I wore it 1 week. I watched it back. I have this choker chain with these big balls on it. I went, oh no, I look like I'm in some kind of a sex film. I can never wear any of that again.
Yeah. You did look like you were an 8mm.
All right, well, give your final plugs and pitches there.
That's Gallows. Go ahead.
Oh, this Friday night, Talking Shopamania goes on the air at 10 p.m. But before that, join us, patreon.com/Talking Shop for Boozing with the Boys. You can come into the party. You can hang out with Chad, Rocky, myself. You never know what kind of special guests will be there. The night of the original Talking Shopamania, Chris Jericho joined us. So big guest stars. You don't know who's going to show up. Then at 10 p.m., we go on the air. It's on traditional pay-per-view and on the Fight app where you can pre-order now, Talking Shopamania 2. Following up this huge weekend, we will all, except for Rocky, be at Turning Point. That's the Impact event emanating from Skyway Studios, Nashville, Tennessee. It's available exclusively on the Impact Plus app, $7.99 a month. If you don't have that app, it's every pay-per-view in Impact Wrestling history, as well as all these great specials, great independent content. If you're sleeping on Impact Wrestling, it's time to wake up. When you wake up Sunday and you're celebrating our Tag Team Championship Triple Crown victory over the North, pop yourself open a bottle of Hoot Blood. You can find the links to all of our alcohol, our live appearances, everything that is Good Brothers Talking Shop, Rocky Romero at tnsmania.com. Thank you for loving all of our stupidity, and please join us for the biggest weekend of our careers starting Friday, November 13th. And
Rocky is on the Impact Plus app, though, because Black Tiger was in a couple of those pay-per-views.
Black Tiger's in there,
true.
baby.
That is
true.
By the way,
and Lariato Pro.
Rocky's quietly done it all.
Yes.
to close it, I'll give you for the listeners to how like I deal with things and how the Good Brothers deal with things. I'm agenting one of the matches of theirs, and all of a sudden they walk out with alcohol. They're pointing to the bottles. They're pointing to their hats, their sweatpants. They're pointing to everything. And then in the headset, and why this would never get over anywhere else, because if they did this in WWE, I think Vince would hit the ring. It's Scott D'Amore is like, why do they have alcohol? And I go, I don't know. And he's like, God damn it, they're plugging their own shit. And I go, is that bad? He goes, kind of looks good.
There you go.
So that's why we love Impact Wrestling.
He wanted to yell at us and was like, it looks okay. Never mind.
But in my headset, I got that proverbial Scott D'Amore, and I was like, oh, here it comes. I'm in trouble again. Yeah. But no, it worked out.
By the way, before we sign off, and thanks for having us, there's a hell of a Scott D'Amore cameo in this Talking Shopamania 2. It popped the hell out of me when I saw it, so I think you'll enjoy that as well.
Absolutely. Well,
thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it.
I look forward to watching this. Everyone get it. A really good bunch of guys, and it's a different way to watch professional wrestling entertain, and that's what we do. I love you guys. I'm going to have you all on separately, and we'll get back to a regular House of Hardcore podcast. But thanks for losing my virginity to 3 dudes. It's been fun.
Hey, love you, Dad. Wrestling Dad. Thank you.
Love you, man.
Thank you, Tommy.
Appreciate it, Tommy.